This is What to Believe. I'm Neil Bierbaum, and I want to tell you what this podcast is about and why I think it matters. It began for me way back at age 7, when I became clear that I would pursue the path of wisdom over wealth and power. You might ask what a child of 7 was doing making a decision like that. We'll get to that. Then at 17, I had an insight that showed me what that path should look like, what the criteria should be for a meaningful body of truth. It was only in my late 30s, early 40s that I found the methodologies and practices that met those criteria. Having forgotten about them for a while in a wild, crazy youth, but anyway, I found my way back to them. And I've been practicing, testing, and teaching those methods and practices for another 2 decades. You could say I'm one part journalist. I spent 10 years observing and writing about people, and 2 parts life and leadership coach. I've spent 2 decades practicing. And all that tied together with a thread of academic skepticism. I've been a skeptic throughout and a few forays into the academic field. I most recently completed a master's in leadership coaching. The thread that I've investigated through all of that is what it means to be human and how we can achieve a measure of success while holding on to meaning and the basic goodness of our humanity. The background of that was always the hope that I might contribute to a better world. I think we can agree that the world is a pretty messed up place right now, which might mean that I've failed in my mission. So far, there's still hope. I think I have something that can make a difference, and that's what I'm here to share. What I've found is that there's a flaw baked into the human operating system, one that makes it genuinely hard for us to face the truth about ourselves or the world, and to see the ways in which we are the source of our own problems. The way this shows up collectively right now is in how right we all are that our point of view is the right one. Everyone has an answer. Nobody wants to listen. The same mechanism operates on a micro scale in our personal relationships. I mean, when was the last time someone gave you feedback and you just went, oh yes, you're right, I do that thing and I can see how that can be a problem for you? No, we tend to take offense. We fight back. We go to HR. But of course, the problem was never with us. The problem was always out there, yet it never goes away. So maybe it's not out there. Maybe I'm the problem. I mean, if you give Claude or your AI bot feedback about itself, does it take it personally and instantly start to deflect and defend and blame? No, it doesn't. So maybe that should act as a clue. Maybe there's a flaw, a bug in the human operating system. I'm saying there is. And through this podcast, I'm going to be pointing it out. Imagine being able to catch yourself in the moment, in the act of creating your own problems, and defending yourself when that gets pointed out. Imagine getting outside of yourself far enough to see yourself for long enough to register that there's another way. And once you've seen something, whether it's a naked parent, a dead body, or your own fault lines, you can't unsee it. Your life changes forever in a way that doesn't require knowledge, explaining, or emotional effort. That's the path I want to take you on. I promise you'll find that the problems you experience are not where you think they are, nor the solutions. Now, this is not something I've made up. I learned it by becoming a trainer in the core methodology that I use, a form of ontological coaching. I spent 4.5 years, 2,500 hours running intensive 4-day trainings for hundreds of people, walking them through the process in real time. I believe the world needs this at scale now. And we can't fit enough people in a room at once to make that happen. So I'm going to deliver that same material through a podcast, through this podcast. But since I'm not in the room with you where I can hold you to that insight in a way that you can't escape it, which is what this process typically needs, I'm going to try landing that same point through repetition, episode by episode. I'll share this flaw in the human operating system. We'll come at it from different angles, through multiple lenses, using hundreds of examples, from my own life, from my coaching, from what's happening in the world right now. And each one will point to the same fundamental insights from a different direction. We'll repeat it until you start to see it for yourself, not because I told you, but because you saw it in operation in yourself, because you caught yourself in the act of creating your own living nightmare. Okay, that's a bit extreme, but creating your own problems for sure. Some of them, many of them. Which brings me to the name, What to Believe. We're living through a time when we have more information than ever and less agreement about what that information means. Nobody knows what to believe. Everyone is certain that they're right, and it's everyone else who should listen. just like I'm doing now, ha. But here's the key. I can see when I'm doing it, and I'm willing to acknowledge it. If we were in the room together, you'd find me willing to work with you to figure out what's true, or rather what's real and what matters. And that's my promise. Once you see this flaw, this bug, this mechanism in operation, it'll set you free from false beliefs about what's real and what matters. You'll start to see clearly to the nub of an issue, personal or political, in a way that enables you to decide and act based on what's real and what matters. I can't give you more right now. It would take too long to explain. If I could, I'd make one video and be done. That's why this is taking the form of an ongoing podcast. You'll find a strange comfort here, the comfort of knowing how little is really true, how little of it really matters, and how much freedom there is in that. I'm Neil Bierbaum. This is What to Believe, finding signal in the noise. You'll find me on all the major podcast platforms. I look forward to seeing you there.